And you are back on the Tortoise and Hare experience. And it's now time to share another experience.
Yeah.
So you went first
I did,
last
so
time.
it's your turn.
My turn. Okay, so last show, I was talking to you about how I had a second job, right? And I was trying to get my cycles all intertwined and to make it all work.
Right.
Guess what? I just got my cycling all worked out.
Yeah.
And I lost the job.
No.
I didn't lose the job per se, but what had happened was one of the owners of the company is married. Well, they're both married. And what ended up happening was his wife got an extremely lucrative job offer, except it's in Oregon.
Wow.
And, the husband being a good husband is like, well, we're going to go and I'm going to, I'm not going to say no,
Right,
this is good for the family. So he moved and the other guy, the company's so big that he needed the other guy. So now the other guy, what ended up happening was he's now consolidating and, not being as big of a company.
Oh, man.
So he's like,
it's great for them, but
it's great
for
them, yeah. And it was funny because I just got my cycle and my timing all right, and it was just like, man, and
I hate that.
yeah. But you know what? That's fine. I didn't mind it because that job came in at such a right time when I needed the money. So now I just now have to find like a second job, and the thing that I loved about that other job was they were so accommodating with my schedule. And it's so tough to find a job that's going to accommodate my. I'm not saying I have a very hectic schedule, but it's a very weird schedule that is very flexible.
Right. Yeah.
So that's kind of what's going on right now too.
Wow,
Not that I'm
sorry.
stressing or anything like that, but it's just
Nah, it's nothing to stress about.
Yeah.
I have this way of thinking, and if everybody thought this way, I think we'd live in a better world.
Okay.
If you wake up in the morning and you wake up, it's a good day. Don't think any further or in the past. Just be in the now and grateful, and it's just going to be spectacular if you come into your day with that attitude.
Okay.
Yeah, when you think, right? And, that's my way of thinking. It doesn't work for everybody, I guess, but because people like to hold on to anger and resentment and fear. So that's the basis for a lot of people. Their existence is fear. So once you get rid of that, you can just be happy. So don't worry about like not having a second job or the money. It'll come. Just believe it's going to happen, and be comfortable in your day.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's what I've been experiencing. What
I
have
like
you
that.
been experiencing?
Well, I'm sorry for that loss for you. My experience is I got another job.
Taking all my jobs back. What the hell?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I have like 15 flipping jobs. And yesterday I get a call from a friend of mine, Al Bain for Leather, and he's a designer, and this company came to him because they need to make prosthetics, and these prosthetics have to be like sewn in to like this whole form, right? So he's going to do the sewing because he's a designer.
What kind of prosthetics are we talking about? Just to be clear.
Well, here's the thing. They asked Al who had the best breasts ever.
Ever. That's a very subjective, 'cause
right?
some guys like big breasts, some guys like small breasts.
Well, in a designer's point of view, there was many people involved. It wasn't just that. And Al said, "Well, you gotta call Max Wassa." So they did, and they're going to make a cast of my breasts, and it's going to be a prosthetic that transvestites women with mastectomies. I can't talk today. It's the baby bumper boogie something, whatever they tried to make me say, and now I'm lost. So that's for all of those reasons, and maybe some S&M kind of stuff, too. People want to just play with my boobs. I'm in a little bit of fear about how this is all going to work out.
Well, are they paying you?
Well, of course they're going to pay
Then
me.
where's the fear?
The fear is that I do all of these autograph shows, as you know.
Okay.
And the fear is that one day somebody's going to walk up with my breasts in their hand.
Why is that
and
fear? That should be
want
a
me to
beautiful
sign
thing.
them.
That's
It's like-
cash. That's saying, hey, your stuff is selling.
No,
That shouldn't be
I
fear.
know.
That should be. You should want there to be a line of 1 billion guys or girls, with your
Right.
breasts saying, "Please autograph this." I think that would be the most flattering thing in the world.
It's bizarre. It's a bizarre position to be in, and as our guest Michelle knows very well, when you have fans and they are very into everything that you do and how you are, they want to hold you close. And the fact that they're going to actually get to hold me close, and what kind of letters I'm going to get after that, I'm nervous. Yeah, so that's my experience.
Okay.
So I'm sorry for your job loss, and
No worries.
I'm happy for
I
my
wish
job.
my boobs could be.
Yeah, I say we cast yours.
Yeah.
Let's cast yours.
That'd be great. Michelle Tomlinson, welcome
Yeah,
to the
welcome.
experience. Would you care to share an experience that you've been having recently?
Well, I haven't lost a job lately, and my boobs are not getting cast in anything.
I might have to check them out just to see if I can cast them in my fantasies.
I can go anywhere with that one. I don't know. I mean, there's so many amazing things going on. I truly wouldn't even know where to start. I live in a big, giant space of gratitude usually, so I discovered when going through some challenges, the more gratitude that I keep going, not to sound like an organic lettuce leaf or anything, but the more gratitude I keep going, the more great things keep happening. And so I'm actually launching a show, and I've got a business that's doing well, and I'm attached to a film, and yeah. But my
Yay.
boobs aren't going to be anywhere fantastic.
Yes. Yes.
No, your boobs are everywhere fantastic.
Yeah, there you go. They're
They-
attached to me, and I'm going
absolutely.
fantastic places.
That's
so-
right. That's right. Exactly. And we would be happy to cast your boobs.
Aw.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, I believe we have some peanut butter back there.
Oh, perfect.
We'll just spread it out.
You know what? I don't know if peanut butter and boobs go hand in hand. I would be more of a
Yeah.
caramel or whipped cream guy.
Well, no,
for
because you know what? Here's the thing: whipped cream, it just melts
Rise
off.
and globs away.
Yeah, and it's
Well, you
and
have
it's
to eat
gone.
it off quickly. That's
Well,
the
yeah,
thing.
but we're talking about casting here. We're not
Casting
talking about
fee.
eating.
Right.
Oh.
Pervert.
Sorry.
I did
Talking
this.
about arts.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Come on. I did this charity event once when I was doing Miami Vice, where they put me in a vat of chocolate. And if you've ever been in a vat of chocolate, it's friggin' hot. Okay,
It would
so
have to be, yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really hot to be.
it's in a
yeah.
vat.
So you're like,
Crying out loud.
I'm
Chocolate.
burning to death by death by chocolate for real, and then I had to sit there for 3 hours as it hardened, and then they auctioned off the pieces off of my body for this charity, and yeah, it was insane. It was insane, and it raised a lot of money. I don't ever recommend doing that.
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good chocolate free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever hear about the Goldfinger thing? Remember the movie Goldfinger?
The woman died because the latex
Right.
suffocated all of her skin.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's how I
you
felt.
felt in that chocolate.
I felt like
the
that.
vat.
Yeah, the
of
vat of chocolate. And there was, photographers everywhere and crowds of people and watching me just being tortured to death, for charity. The
Well, it's
things
for
we
charity,
do.
so
The things we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good thing.
Yeah.
Michelle Tomlinson, you can find at michelletomlinson.tv. And today is kind of the kickoff to your new series that you're starting on there.
Yeah. I started a talk show, slightly different than this one for sure. And
I bet you it's not.
well, so far nobody's talked about casting tatas or
Yeah,
being
but they
dipped in
will, 'cause I'll
chocolate.
be on the show.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're gonna be eventually a guest, so I think it's gonna have to happen. I got inspired last year because I went through a splash of cancer, And when
just a scotch, a little bit of
scotch,
cancer.
I just don't like to take it too seriously, because then my head goes in this place where it's just awful.
Yeah.
You know, it was a little bit of hell on earth, but I was able to navigate finding heaven through hell.
Right.
And when I got through all of it, I'm now 6 months or so cancer-free, which is pretty awesome.
Yay!
Yeah, thank God. My mom kept saying, you know, it'd be such a great idea if you did some kind of talk show, because I have a past experience a bajillion years ago doing stuff like that. And I was like, oh no, I just want to keep just being an actor, and I don't want to do a show like that. And she kept saying, no, I think it's a good idea. And then I was in the shower one day, and I started thinking about, like, all these different people and what they said, like just comments on my blog post, because I blogged about the cancer and what I went through and stuff like that, just to like let other people know who are out there going through the same thing, that like, guess what? It happens everywhere all the time. Anybody, it doesn't matter. And it's okay. You know, no matter what the trial or tribulation is, you're going to be okay one way or another. And I started thinking about these comments that people would post, or emails that I would get directly, and people saying, you know, I feel so alone. Oh,
Yeah.
I get so passionate about this. I almost cry every time I talk about it. I feel so alone, and reading your blog made it feel a little bit better, or, you know, I passed this on to my cousin or my aunt, or, you know, it just all of a sudden became this thing where I standing in the shower and I was rinsing shampoo out of my hair, and I was all of a sudden was like, oh, I had this clear vision of exactly what needed to happen, and the show, and what it needed to be, and why I wanted it to exist, and how, you know, people don't have to feel alone. At the end of the day, we all are. We're on individual journeys. I could pass of a heart attack right now, and you would be here to witness it, but you can't take a part of it.
Well, it would go viral with the video.
Yeah,
that we got, so if you do it,
And we would immediately catch your breast while doing it.
But there's a difference between knowing that we're going through things and we are alone on the earth as far as our individual journey, and being really lonely. And being super lonely sucks.
Yeah.
And especially sucks when you're going through really heavy stuff. And so this show was born of that. And so it's a video and a podcast. It'll get released simultaneously Wednesday, March 5th, which is tomorrow, and I just had heart palpitations. I know. And I've gotten 7 interviews done so far, so that's going to be basically my season 1. And these stories are they're so amazing. I have people on there who are talking about being cancer survivors and what it was like to go through it, get past it, get on the other side of it, and what are they doing now. And I have a dear friend of mine who, his wife, who was also a dear friend of mine, she had stage 4 breast cancer. And they were fighting for her to live, and they were doing all these right things and trying really hard, and she was killed by a drunk driver on New Year's Day of 2013.
Man.
So it's his story, his version of her story, and how that affected him, and what it's like to be the spouse. To
Right.
go through that with somebody, and as hellacious as it was, and changing bags and cleaning up after her. And really, I mean, this guy is so top-notch human that he was just in it to win it with her. And to lose the fight in that way was a blessing in some sense, because her suffering ended. But as the spouse, the suffering didn't end.
Right.
No, of course not.
In that moment on New Year's Day.
And it'll never end.
No. So there's a lot of survival that is the structure and the bone marrow of the show, and that's the message I want that specific show to empower other people with.
Yeah.
Like,
I have to say that for myself, I have to thank you, because in December I was going through chemo, and I was talking to our mutual really good friend Dave Rita, who said, you know, Michelle has gone through this, and she's, surviving and thriving, and, you're going to make it through. And
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. So I read your blogs. It helped immensely. And, I was like, because, when you're dealing with chemo and being so alone, and I did it at Christmas time so that I would be, just for the fact, like, I didn't want to burden my family, so I went and I saw my daughter and had a really fun swimming with the dolphins and, hanging out and then went in for it. And then, kind of, just
That's hell.
Just in my own healing and, trying to heal. And this was my third round of cancer in a different location. So it's like, and what a lot of people don't know.
When we had this conversation a few weeks ago, whatever it was, when we met again at the photo shoot, I had no idea that you were somebody who had cancer whatsoever, let alone 3 different, I call them brands, because again, it keeps it.
It's true.
Cancer's so heavy. I've lost, people beyond dear to me, soulmate humans to cancer, and so it's not something I take lightly, but oh my God, we have to have some kind of lightness when discussing the heavy, because otherwise everybody just kind of loses their shit a little bit.
And it doesn't help to like think so negative about it. This happens. It happens for reasons, and you'll get through. And if you don't get through on this realm, you're going to get through, to a bigger, better place.
Exactly.
And,
it's kind of win-win.
My thinking. Yeah.
It's win-win.
It is a win-win. We definitely don't want to go through it, and don't. No. It's
no, hell on earth totally blows.
It's it's
you
definitely
gotta go through hell to know what
you do.
Light is.
Absolutely.
Mine was papillary thyroid cancer, and it was the biggest blessing of my life. It's not like I was a complete jackass or anything before that, but it made me really realize all the work I had already been doing for myself, because I have such a wackadoodle history of my mind, and we all do. Once you hit the age of 30 and on, you start to come with a U-Haul. Mm-hmm. And how you handle that U-Haul that you truck around everywhere with you really starts to define who you are. And so it was my first year of marriage. I had just gotten married, officially married in January of 2013, to get diagnosed with cancer April 9th, same year. Yeah. So it really helped cement our commitment to each other, and my commitment to making sure that I'm healing my mind and my spirituality and my emotions and everything else. It just heightened that commitment even further, because it gave me an opponent. Although a pretty invisible opponent, but an opponent to mindfully just kick the shit out of and rise above it, because life had gotten so sweet. Mm-hmm. I was like, I am not going down any weird road now that everything's good. I'm not going to be that statistic that so many people become, like, so-and-so finally started doing great, then they got, blah, 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 and they're gone. It's like, no,
it's not going to happen. Yeah. Well, for me, I never really talked about it publicly, because, our industry is very sensitive. So they don't want to take a chance on you if they think you're sick, or, insurance goes up, and, it's like, I do stunts, and I shouldn't be, because, there's problems in my body and
in your bones.
But I don't ever tell the production that, because I just want to be a trooper, and I just want to do my job.
Exactly.
And, never be a problem. And, and it's really difficult to be in our position, and, because we want to talk about it, we want to encourage other people, but at the same time, we don't want to lose jobs, and, and have anybody feel, sorry for you, or, like Turtle, who doesn't have, a second job now, and, it's kind of pathetic. He has no girlfriend. He's like living at home. It's, we don't want people to know that on the air.
Yeah, the true artist. Yeah. Yeah, and that is, you're right. That is something that people will look at you slightly sideways about, and I can't believe how lucky I was last year with cancer. I was attached to 2 films and was in the middle of doing a play when I found out. And so the day that I found out, I lost it for about an hour and just was like, what? How is this possible? And then by that night, I was like, all right, I'm going to write a blog post about this, and I'm just going to put it out there, and whatever happens, happens, because if I lose a job, I lose a job. If I don't lose a job, I don't lose a job, and I'll be damned. I was able to stay committed to everything. The only time it really affected my business is when I was so hypothyroid, I couldn't, like, when you're really super hypothyroid, you can barely blink without it hurting, and you're so exhausted that getting out of bed is like, it's truly like frozen molasses of trying to do anything. And that's when I would cancel clients and classes and stuff like that, and call in the big guns, also known as my mom, to be like, dude, I do need your help, because my husband would be working all day, and I couldn't even drive.
Yeah, it's really important to have that support system. All the time.
Support system's everything. It's everything.
Tell me, was anybody doing the exact opposite of being supportive, where it was just like, oh, you got cancer, because everyone always says that, oh my God, I got cancer, so automatically you think no one's gonna be a dick,
Oh no, dicks abound.
Really? Yeah. Really?
It just happens though. But I mean, it's really not their fault. And Max, I'm positive you can relate to this, because people, they get uncomfortable. Everybody associates a major sickness with something, whether it's death or survival or positive or negative, or their own fears, their own, I don't want to get, nobody wants that phone call. My God, I don't know one single person that's ever said, I want to get the phone call at 8:30 in the morning that I have cancer. Nobody signs up for that. So
makes for a great movie though.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Very realistic.
So yeah, there are people who were definitely not around really at all, or not check-in worthy, or just kind of disappeared. And I know very well that it was their stuff, not my stuff. So I just never took much to heart about it, and just focused on the people that were super there. My mom, my husband, my best friend. I mean, like, there's no way I could have made a single day without one of the 3 of them. There's no way. Yeah. And then plus everybody else, I had other friends that took me to doctor's appointments to get the biopsy, which, I mean, so the support system really is so key in those moments, and people will come and people will go, and those who stay are the ones who are really in it to win it with you, no matter what you're going through.
Now, I'm really curious about, we've already talked about your first season that you're launching, which, by the way, log on to MichelleTomlinson.tv. There you're going to see the first episode of your new series, An Intimate Look with Michelle Tomlinson. So you already have the 7 in the can.
Yeah.
But here's my only thing, is that you have a lot of, not the same kind of concepts, but you have these tragic stories that end up, with some light at the end of the tunnel. I'm thinking already about second season, where it's like, okay, you already had the tragic. Now, are you thinking about expanding that?
There's a lot of different. Yeah, like, my head is about to explode with the meetings I've been having, the production meetings I've been having, because it's like, okay, we can continue going, like, having cancer survivors intermittently, and I'm interested in interviewing. I've got a Iraqi war veteran who's really interested in being on the show. I'm really interested in having the show, because that's also bringing a slight political element to it, of what his experience was just being in the Iraqi war, and what it is to be a vet in America today, as for, versus back in Vietnam, and how nobody was supported, Korea, all these different wars. And this guy is unique in his own experience and his own story of it. And so there's just a lot of human nature stuff that I find survival stuff that I find so interesting. And it doesn't have to be so tragic. Right. It doesn't have to be about death and dismemberment and, all these awful things, but just human interest stories, because that's what resonates with me a lot, and that's what I'm finding resonates with a lot of people as a society. I mean, there's a new television show starting on ABC called Resurrection.
Yeah.
What the hell? We are a
I'm so
society that is
interested to see that.
Yeah. We're a society we're all seeking some kind of like closure or some kind of peace and some kind of heaven through it all and some kind of joy. Everybody seems to be on this big mission of seeking that. And it's just a moment that fills me with what can I do to participate in that for other people.
I have to tell you, death is something very interesting now that we live in a Facebook social media world. I've had some people that have died and their Facebooks are still open, and what's kind of cool is people still share things whenever on their Facebook, so it's kind of like they're not really, I mean, mentally they're dead, but like people are still posting as if they're still alive and they're still going through it. So I find that really fascinating right now with, you know, all these social sites. And
Absolutely. So I love social media. It's a beautiful outlet for people to connect that might not have known each other otherwise or catch up with other people. And for that exact reason of being able to reach out and kind of help yourself with a little bit of closure type stuff.
Yeah. In
That.
at my other job.
One of our 15.
Yes, one of
Max,
the
I need to
15
throw one of those jobs over here, okay?
Yeah, well, I would if I could. When you have breasts and a degree, then no, I'm just.
Your tatas will be cast too.
He's got
I have nice pecs.
No, he does.
You know?
He does. He swims a lot. So
I do.
Castable.
But you know, I do holistics and I do past life regression, and I deal a lot with people wanting to know, you know, where they came from, how to disconnect from the baggage that they've carried through lifetimes, and you know, and it's really an interesting thing. You know, it's how to get over your past, and it's so many people are really fascinated with that. And I think this show Resurrection is like, you know, really stemming from that kind of need of, you know, saying goodbye and talking to somebody from the past, or just having that moment.
The show, right? So you're just
No,
taking
it hasn't,
yeah.
it
a
hasn't
wild
aired
guess.
yet. Yeah,
No.
I just keep seeing all these trailers on the television.
Right, and they could just be aliens that are, you know, mimiking, you know, which
really
in
could
my
be
mind, if I was
anything.
writing that show, that's exactly the premise.
Spoiler alert!
Right? It would be fantastic.
It really could be absolutely anything.
Right.
It really could. But we're left with the feeling of these people coming back from beyond the grave.
Do we really want that feeling? Do you really want to see somebody coming back years later after you finally had closure, after you finally moved on with your life, and maybe you're seeing somebody else? Maybe, you know, so it leaves that whole...
it's a really touchy...
That's a tough thing. I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this show, because... I mean, especially like if it's a spouse and you have moved on, you know, if it's somebody you can't move on from, like a parent or a child or a sibling or something, those are the non-replaceable, you know, people. You can't get a new one, but you can remarry, for example.
Right.
That would be weird as hell. I don't know how healthy that would be for anybody.
If you could sit with somebody from your past, or not even somebody that you've ever known, but that's passed on, who would that be?
Oh, God, without question, it'd be my dad.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, without question.
What would be the first thing out of your mouth?
Dude! First thing out of my mouth is just seriously like, oh my, yeah, it would be dude. And it would be followed with a lot of laughter. He was one of my soulmates. He and my mom, we were kind of the three musketeers, and he will forever be the most amazing guy I've ever experienced in my life, because we thought exactly the same. I mean, he was, you know, you have those people in your life you don't need to speak. We didn't need to speak.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was epic.
Yeah, you know, the father-daughter bond is a very special thing.
It really is.
You know, so when they're gone, I feel it for myself. You know, the moment my father died, it was heart-wrenching. I was like, how can I survive without this man?
Is that who you would resurrect? And talk to?
You know,
who would you...
Yeah, who would you talk to?
It's a difficult question, you know, because I've lost so many people in my life, And of course, I, would want, to ask my father, are you proud of me? Or because
why? He is. What is he?
Well,
say
no.
no?
Yeah, but
he
never said it. He never
But
said
you
it.
knew.
For me, it was always, what's your next project? Because I've been working since I'm 7 years old, so it was always kind of equated to what I was doing and what work it was. But I he never said, I'm really proud of the work that you're doing, and until the moment he was dying, and my sister and I were standing next to him at the side of his bed, and he looked at us, and I had my hair straight because my hair is very curly, as you know, and he was petting my head, and he looked at my sister and myself, and he said, my beautiful daughters, I'm so proud of you. And then he looked across the room at my mother and said, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh man." So who would it be for you?
There's a few. Like I said, there's some jumping through my mind. Maybe second place would be the Earl of Sandwich.
The Earl of Sandwich.
That'd be second, just because.
Interesting.
Damn, the sandwich has conquered the world.
Yeah, thanks.
It's gone on to become hamburgers and the bun. Whoa, But
awesome.
Yeah, but for me, it would
Hamburglar.
it would have to be maybe Ansel Adams. I
really
enjoy
Ansel Adams.
That's a good one.
Really enjoy his photography, and just I like how he can make the biggest landscape seem so small.
Yeah.
To me, that was just amazing. But those are the two. I mean, first Ansel and then Earl of Sandwich.
Nice.
Roger that.
Yeah, big fan of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Yeah, well, it's the peanut butter for me.
Well,
just
okay,
all together.
Real quick, and I'm dealing with
Not that I
this,
even eat it, but
what is your favorite jelly to put on the peanut butter and jelly sandwich?
Without question, cherry.
Cherry.
I like the
that.
black cherry, the big chunky cherry.
Right.
First off, I can't eat many fruits, so that's one of the only ones that I can. So any chance that I get to spread it on something is yeah.
Mine's is grape.
Yeah, really? Grape?
Yeah, and
that's so normal.
Like grape jam where it's kind of clumpy, or grape jelly where it's just that swah when you just
both.
Do you like the squeeze thing?
I'll take grape in any
form.
Any form.
Like the little. Do you steal the little packets from the restaurants?
Were you choking on grapes just a few minutes ago?
I brought grapes in, and he was so happy. I always bring
grapes,
things.
Yes,
drinking wine.
Yeah, he's graping out.
Yeah,
that turtle. He's a grape guy.
Yeah, you're Violet.
Exactly.
What's your favorite jelly?
I tried one recently that was a mango jalapeno jelly, which
really?
was jam, and I quit eating refined sugar, so it's actually just naturally sweet by the mango, and it was sweet and spicy.
Wow, that seems like something
awesome.
Denim Dan would like, because he's a spicy
it was
man.
So good.
Yeah.
Studio City Farmers Market, dude.
Mm.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yeah, Denim Dan has an iron stomach. He just, I've never seen anybody pile in as much hot sauce as this man can do.
Really?
It's really amazing.
Are you from New Mexico?
I'm actually from Ohio.
What?
Which is surprising,
Ohioans
right?
can't eat spice.
Right. He's not from there.
And then I moved out here in 2007. I started living and working with from India.
Maybe you could get closer to the mic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There's
right.
a second mic.
Yes, thank you, Denim Dan, for joining us.
Okay, so I'm originally from Ohio, where it's bland as bread, essentially.
Sliced white.
A lot of starches, a lot of this and that. It's just when I came out here and was introduced to as close to real Indian, as close to real Thai, as close to real Japanese, Chinese, as close to what you possibly can get in that home country. That's what I believe LA is kind of for. It's like a mini version of the United States. It's this huge melting pot of all these cultures.
Mixing together.
And it offers everyone that wants to carry on that culture through food a unique opportunity, because everyone comes to LA from all over the world. I mean, Hollywood, there's downtown LA, the valley and everything. Everyone flocks to it. So they're like, well, let's really showcase what we can do. Let's really showcase what our food is truly made of from these countries. And when I came out here, I started living and working in Pasadena with this Indian family straight from India. The wife and family matriarch was a vegetarian, so she would cook everything. And then like the men of the family, which she had all boys, and they were meat eaters though, so like she would cook everything that was vegetarian, and then the meat she would have them cook separately. So she started slowly introducing me to the spices and stuff, to where she would cook a meal for them and she would give me like just the base starting rice, like right before she adds anything, just the cooked rice or something, and then she just started adding a little. Dude, it eventually got to like 6 months to a year after I moved there. I was eating exactly the same things they were. And I got to say, she makes an amazing, like, spicy Indian turkey for Thanksgiving. That is
so
amazing.
Hungry right
I
now.
am too, and I'm like,
Oh
I
my
could go for
gosh.
some vegetarian Indian food.
Right. Yeah.
Sag
Maybe after.
paneer.
Oh, yeah.
Hello.
What time is it?
Max has been with me when we go to Thai or Indian places, and I look at the waitress straight in the eye and I said, I want you to literally set my mouth on fire.
Yeah.
I want flames
Which is
shooting
not always the
from my
best
mouth.
thing to say to a female.
Yeah, my head's
Right?
right there too. I just met this guy. Be nice, be nice.
You don't have to be nice.
There's
all
no,
right.
There's
It's
no
all right.
nice on the Tortoise and Hare experience.
If I
real.
can take the heat of Indian and Thai curry,
Yeah,
I
you
can
should
take
be
the
able to
heat
take
of
the heat,
Michelle
yeah.
Tomlinson.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
India Sweets and Spices.
Mm.
That if you haven't been there, it is so phenomenal. Super, super affordable, amazing, delicious food, and the people who work there are so kind. It's over Los Feliz-ish area.
I need an address. This sounds amazing.
Yeah, Yelp, dude. I don't have the address, but I can.
I am now a member of Yelp. I just joined recently.
Oh, welcome.
Haven't written any reviews, but that sounds like my first review
India
right there.
Sweets and Spices, you gotta
Sweet.
go.
Yeah.
Sunday they have sag paneer, and it is
Yummy.
What are you doing
Delicious.
on Sunday?
Yeah. She's married and she's directing a film on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm directing some videos for somebody's website for them on Sunday.
Yes.
All right.
Fact. Then
Yeah.
maybe having wrap food at India Sweets and Spices now because I'm not going to stop thinking about it.
Right. Yeah. We go to a place close to here called Assam, and they're so kind. They're opened almost all the time except
But
for
at
when we
weird
want to go.
times. Yeah. You're so right.
Yeah, we stand outside sometimes and we bang on the door until they open it up and we record there. And
Oh, nice. Nice.
they're very, very kind. and,
Oh, I love
and we
it.
love them. It's a little teeny tiny place that's just authentic as heck. And yeah, we love them. Assam in North Hollywood.
Well, Michelle, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Really appreciate
Thank you.
it.
But real quick, I want to mention that Michelle and I are doing a film together
Yes.
called No Service with Renya and Mo, and we're very excited about, women in power and directing and producing this film.
It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's going to be great fun.
What's the premise, real quick?
Th-
You got a minute. Go.
there's
Make me believe.
well, I don't want to
60
give
seconds.
I don't want to give away the film, but there's somebody who's trying to eat somebody.
Is this a sexual film? Or
No,
is it-
no.
It doesn't have to be, but it sounds awesome.
Right? Yeah.
There's spices or something
Yeah.
like that. Look for it now, immediately. An intimate look with Michelle Tomlinson out now. And I'm sure you have 7 in the can for the first season.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a weekly feature. Go to michelletomlinson.tv to see this. And you're videoing it and podcasting it.
Correct. Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's going to be on iTunes and.
I'm going to wait a couple episodes before it goes into iTunes. I learned something interesting that you need to wait until you have 2 to 4 podcasts before you launch it on iTunes specifically, because once you start getting an iTunes audience, apparently they get really pissed off that there's not more to listen to because they go,
It's the whole binge thing.
Right, the Burger King method of the world.
Right.
So I'm going to wait until that, but I will have a podcast available tomorrow, Wednesday, March 5th. There will still be a podcast. I'm just not doing it through iTunes yet.
And these webisodes, tell me, do they vary in length?
They
or are
do.
They all, okay.
30 minutes to, I think the longest one is an hour when I interviewed my yoga my yogi guru.
Fantastic.
Yep.
Love yoga.
Yeah. Oh, it'll be the interview for you for sure.
Yeah.
He's
When's
so
that? Is
rad.
that the number 6 episode?
He's probably going to be. I think we have him in the lineup as number 3.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's super rad. Guy who invented the yoga shelter, Eric Pascal.
You know what? I need to talk to him because I have a $1 billion idea that me and him will just make buku bucks.
Don't say it on the air.
I'm not. But it's that good.
I'm like,
Because our
yeah,
listeners will
zero.
run off with that.
I'll give you the idea.
gotta be careful.
Off the air, Michelle.
live radio.
You can, tell
Where's the
him
nearest
about it,
patent
and then when
office?
he
Pass it on.
when he makes his money off of it, then he could throw a few fazools my way.
There you go.
Fizzles.
How about that?
There you go.
I was going to say ducats, but we'll
yeah.
go with that.
Michelle Tomlinson.tv. Go check it out immediately because which is great. The show's out today and it launches today. So thank you so much for giving
Thank
us this
you.
exclusive interview.
Thank you. It's
for
perfect
that.
timing.